Hi, I'm Mark, and today I want to talk about new approaches on state level to cooperate despite Brexit. Last week, the Prime Minister of Rhineland-Palatinate, that's a state here in Germany, visited Scotland for that purpose. Scotland is an important and strong partner. Our common goal is to further intensify our partnership and to overcome the obstacles of Brexit. That was an explanation by Prime Minister Malu Dreyer at the end of her 3-day delegation trip with Clemens Hoch, that's her Minister for Science and Health, from April 17th to 20th. She took a lot of valuable inspiration with her. Scotland is an important and strong partner for Rhineland-Palatinate, especially in biotechnology, life sciences, and renewable energies. And she's pleased that as Prime Minister, she was able to exchange views at the highest level with the new First Minister Hamza Youssef, as I said, the new First Minister of Scotland. Prime Minister Malu Dreyer was the first German head of government to be received by the new First Minister. And she also held political talks with Secretary of State for External Relations Angus Robertson and Secretary of State for Education Graham Day and Deputy Speaker of Parliament Annabel Ewing. The focus of these talks was always the question of how Scottish Rhineland-Palatinate relations can continue despite Brexit. Rhineland-Palatinate is an economically very strong location and, like Scotland, also has a strong focus on future technologies. Our strength lies in the fact that we always try to be ahead of our time and to shape the transformation and the fight against climate change, a task of humanity. And we do it in such a way that our country is one of the winners. That was emphasized by Prime Minister Malu Dreyer. The goal is to be climate neutral by 2040. CO2 neutral energy production is extremely important, and Scotland can be an important partner. The potential for the production of green hydrogen is very large given the windy weather in Scotland. That is also something the Prime Minister thought after visiting the hydrogen accelerator at St Andrews University. The merger of science, government and transport companies is researching and working on the development of hydrogen technologies, renewable energies, and also storage technology. The delegation participants Professor Klaus Helling, Dean of the Birkenfeld Environmental Campus, and Daniel Gar, Chairman of the Board of the Mainz Municipal Utility, saw many parallels in their work. In addition to basic research, the applications for the mobility sector are also interesting for Rhineland-Palatinate. The public utilities, which are already using hydrogen buses, want to enter into an exchange with the researchers from St Andrews. We already have a large IPCEI project in Rhineland-Palatinate with a commercial vehicle cluster at Daimler Wörth, where the aim is also to reduce the harmful greenhouse gas CO2 in the transport sector. Scotland and Rhineland-Palatinate both rely on hydrogen as a CO2 neutral energy source in order to stop climate change, stressed Prime Minister Malu Dreyer, and referred to Rhineland-Palatinate's hydrogen roadmap and the forthcoming sector study on hydrogen. With companies like BASF or Schott, Rhineland-Palatinate has a high energy requirement and should become a model region for green hydrogen in their view. With its proximity to the ports in Belgium and the Netherlands, Rhineland-Palatinate is easy to reach for hydrogen exports. She also exchanged views with First Minister Hamza Youssef, as I said, and announced that she would continue to advocate to the federal government to work with Scotland, said the Prime Minister. Both countries are also heavily promoting biotechnology and life sciences. Rhineland-Palatinate has achieved quite a success with the funding and development of mRNA research for cancer research and vaccine development, and is on the right track in the further development of life sciences. And Scotland is a step ahead in some areas. That's what the Prime Minister said. The delegation therefore visited the BioQuarter in Edinburgh. That's a 167-hectare life sciences centre where around 8,000 people work. And they visited the University of Glasgow, a member of the Scottish Universities Life Science Alliance, or SALSA. Among other things, research is being carried out there into combating the age-related diseases Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. With the IMB, the Institute for Molecular Biology, the TZM, there's a technology center in Mainz, and that's an innovation and startup center for biotechnology and life sciences, and the Center for Translational Oncology, or TRON. Rhineland-Palatinate has set the course in recent years. The state government will invest 100 million euros in the expansion of biotechnology over the next 10 years. Biology, chemistry, computer science, big data, artificial intelligence, and technology belong together. We have to bring science, research, business, startups, spin-offs, and clinics together, network all of these players even better, and work internationally. With interdisciplinary work, we can speed up the development of new drugs. Ultimately, society as a whole benefits from this, emphasized the Prime Minister. The research results would have to reach the patients quickly, and the proceeds would have to flow back into science and research. That was the opinion by Science Minister Clemens Hoch. Furthermore, the delegation visited the Craigmount High School, Edinburgh, a flagship of the Rhineland-Palatinate cooperation in the exchange of student teachers and coordinated by the Scotland hub of the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz. Prime Minister Malu Dreyer and Science Minister Clemens Hoch took part in a lesson there in which German teaching assistants from Bad Dürkheim, Mainz and Alten Dietz were on duty. We have to reduce the hurdles and difficulties in the exchange of students that were created by Brexit. That is the utmost opinion of the Prime Minister. She announced that she would work on this and develop appropriate programs. Applications for the Tandem Research Fund could be submitted from mid-May. Rhineland-Palatinate is an open international state. The exchange of students and scientists must continue to be possible. That is the basis for a functioning international cooperation, and that's also the opinion of the Prime Minister and the Minister for Science during the exchange with German students at the University of Glasgow. The Prime Minister was accompanied, as I said, by Clemens Hoch, the Minister for Science and Health, and also representatives of the Johannes Gutenberg University of Mainz, whose Scotland hub is a pivotal point in private Palatinate-Scottish relations. Furthermore, members of the Biotechnology Council and the Future Council for Sustainable Development, as well as representatives of universities, utility companies, and the media, were part of the travel delegation. But I mustn't forget a little side story here from the Brexit saga either. One of the biggest debates since Austria joined the EU in 1995 is the question, why can't jam be called marmalade anymore? The reason was British lobbying at the time. According to an EU regulation passed in 1979, only spreads that contain at least 20% citrus fruit may be called marmalade. The decree was a victory for the British, who joined what was then the European Economic Community in 1973. From an Austrian point of view, it was an absurd EU regulation. Marmalade had to be called marmalade, but that should change again now, because everything goes back, as I said, to a regulation from 1979. At the time, Austria was far from being part of the EU, and British marmalade lobbyists pushed through the special rule. And with this citrus fruit part, that was a benefit of the EU, because only the British ones, because they were almost the only ones eating them, were called that. But on Friday, the EU Commission presented a new legal text that is intended to regulate the use of the terms marmalade, jam, confiture, and so on. In addition to a higher minimum fruit content, the following passage can be found in it. The expression marmalade, which was previously only permitted for citrus jam, is now permitted for all jams. This allows manufacturers to use local naming conventions. And as is well known in Austria, for example, this is marmalade. And in Germany too, by the way, although on every glass at the moment you find confiture or whatever. But that is a Brexit benefit for us. The British are out and we don't need that regulation anymore, because the British lobbyists are not there anymore within the EU law-making body. But at least I found a Brexit benefit. Yay. But that was just a little funny side note. That is not so funny for the Austrians, but still, it's a bit funny. But to the major part of the video, the cooperation between the states and the single parts of the UK is now more important than before because of all the complications of Brexit. And now they have to find completely new ways to cooperate within limits, though. So Brexit is a gift that keeps on giving, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.